Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. 30 days down with the iPhone 15 Pro, real user experience. Now I know that I do creation, but at the same time, I am just a person on YouTube posting things for people to see. Now I bought the iPhone 15 Pro about roughly almost a little over a month ago, and I've been using it straight through ever since as my main primary SIM card device. Because initially, all I had was one SIM card. But then once these devices started to come out, when the Pixel 8 Pro hit, I was like, ooh, I had to activate service again. I had to do it. And then, I also have, I bought the 8, Google sent over the 8 Pro. I bought an 8 Pro, and then I bought an 8. And then I bought a OnePlus Open. Then I'm just buying phones out the yin-yang. But one thing that has remained the same is my primary SIM card, my primary phone number, even though I created 2 more lines, it's still been with the iPhone 15 Pro. So I'm recording with the iPhone 15 Pro just for reference. I think the iPhone 15 Pro just is impeccable. It is just, it's the right combination for an everyday person and a creator because this type of quality is top notch. The iPhone 15 Pro, smaller variant, I did buy the 15 Pro Max as well, remember, but the 15 Pro has become that device that it's not going to go anywhere. It's such a great device, and I can highly recommend it to the everyday person and then also the creator. It's just that good. And I always start with like video cameras and cameras in general. Sometimes when I'm talking about the iPhones, because of the iPhone 15 Pro, because it is such a step above. The event that Apple put on for the Max was shot on an iPhone 15 Pro. And I think that speaks volumes to what you can do. Now, granted, that's not something that's so spectacular that it's never been done before. Other OEMs have used their products to shoot the content for the ad. But here I am as a creator and a vlogger and a content creator and a blogger, all these different things where I need to jump in front of the camera, I need to show myself, and I need to get a message across. The iPhone 15 Pro has mastered that area. I remember back in the day, I didn't like how the iPhones did for vlogging and like certain settings like this. It would always just make it look off. But I think shooting in ProRes and then HDR, it really takes this device to another level. It really does. So cameras seem to be the thing that Apple talks about a lot with their devices. Specifically the 15 Pro lineup, they're really hammering it home with the cameras because they shot a whole event with it. Now, granted, they probably had different rigs and all kind of external microphones. Right now, all you're listening to, I had my external microphone I was going to use, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to just put the rear cameras, position myself, not use an external microphone, and just go with it. And that's what you're listening to, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the 15 Pro. Just on a regular tabletop tripod, no microphones, no anything. And I think this is where Apple shines, and this is why they can win so many people over, like regular peoples, because first of all, they have great support. For their products, they just have great support. Their support is better than any other OEM that I've dealt with. And I think this is we're in a social media age, and I say that a lot. You say, Jay, you always say that. Well, it's true. We're in a social media age where everybody is showing everything online. And right now, the competition is tight. The competition is really tight. You've got the Pixel lineup just came out straight, just, they're jabbing they shot for the fence, and they did a phenomenal job. And then in the folding space, you got OnePlus that came out, and they said, they're gonna swing for the fence too. We're gonna hit every foldable in the jawbone because they got a glass jaw right now. And so that is what it is. So Apple, being Apple, they came out and swung for the fence with the same design with just some tweaks to the hardware. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not going to take shots at Apple and say that they should change, but okay, it is time for them to do something a little different. How about a lot different? It's time for a new design, but this design is working for them, so they're slowly tweaking it over and over and over and over and over again. This is the design pretty much ultimately from the 11, and that's when it kind of switched over to this design. And now you're on the 15. And so with that aside, this is why they can maintain a strong audience and they can maintain loyal buyers and loyal fans because it's not broken. There are a ton of people out there that still have the older 11s and that's what they want, the 12s. They want those devices because they're tried and true and they're going to work. And so for me, daily usage on this thing, I've just never had a problem. And I do a lot of phone calls. I have my my Pros, my Buds, my AirPods Pro, and these things are phenomenal. That's the Andar case. Check out that case video if you haven't already seen it and purchase it. It's well worth it. Very affordable. And I got obviously the band to the Apple Watch Ultra. This is another thing that I picked up as well. A lot of people see me doing Android reviews and they've now grouped me into this, but it's newer people too. It's not you regular folks that have come by for years and rock with me for over the years. You know that, BlackBerry is my number one. I'm a fan of BlackBerry and WebOS, and you also know that BBOS and WebOS. You also know that I'm definitely pro Android, which is why I have to always keep an Android phone around. But I'm not bothered by the comments. Oh, you're wearing an Apple Watch while you're doing an Android review. That's fine. I know who I am, and this stuff really doesn't define me. But the fact is, I'm a neutral creator, and I'm a neutral content creator. I genuinely try to give as much credit where credit is due. And you know how I felt about smartwatches. If you've been knowing me long enough, not knowing me, but if you've been watching me long enough, you know that I was totally against smartwatches. And now here I am with the watch that I said this is the Ultra 2. This is the latest one. I was like, oh, there's no way I'd pay $800 for that watch. People are buying it just for the size. But eventually with me, I like tech so much, I gotta try it. I just can't let it ride. And I've purchased every iPhone, and the 15 should be the best. I think I remember doing a 72-hour follow-up or a week follow-up or something like that. Now we're a month past, and when your phone is just your regular device, I'm out of review phase, but I'm following up with you to give you a real user experience in real world testing. I'm not going to, or user, I should say, not testing, but I'm not going to post a video with a screenshot switching to iPhone, because I'm not officially, I've never left iPhone and I've never left Android. I use them both side by side ever since they dropped. So I'm going to always have an Android phone no matter what. I can just do so much more creatively with an Android phone when it comes to tinkering and editing and stuff like that. Now, the iPhone definitely has iMovie, which is worlds ahead of ton of other things that come free on phones. The fact that they give you a very nice editor on that right there alone, again, takes Apple to another level when it comes to things like that. So with me being a regular person and then a creator, I try to keep the creator second, but and I try to keep the tech enthusiast second to my real, just down to earth, chat 'em up type of person. And that's why my reviews are like this. They're not scripted. I don't have a teleprompter. And what I'm saying is a one take most of the time, because I'm just saying how I really feel about a product. I don't need to write a script, and I'm not knocking people who write scripts. I have footnotes sometimes, but most of the time, if I'm feeling it, it just flows and it's natural and it's the truth. And with the iPhone 15 Pro, when I got the Pro Max, I said, I'm getting ready to go all in with the Pro. I'm going to go buy the Ultra watch. I'm going to buy the Pro. I bought these because my original Buds, my original AirPods, I have the OG AirPods, the first generation. They still work, but the battery life is like 60 to 80% now. After all these years, they still work. And then the noise canceling is just non-existent. So I wanted to see what they were offering. So I just went all in with the latest of everything. I bought the Pros 2, second gen or whatever. I bought the Ultra 2, and I bought the 15 Pro and Pro Max. And so, Apple, I'm a Mac person. I'm a Mac person all day. This is the 15-inch MacBook Air. I got the Mac Studio. I've been a Mac person for quite some time, but the phones is just something I couldn't really adapt to. But now that I'm using the 15 Pro for the last 30 days, and remember, I had every other iPhone before that. This one just hits a little different. The 13 Pros were kind of the best of the best to me. They had a SIM card, and it was pretty much this device, but the cameras were weaker, but the battery was better. So complaints with this device, it can't always be a flawless run. My complaint is going to be the same. I think the iPhone 13 Pro was the last great iPhone for the everyday consumer who didn't want problems, like who wanted options. And I'm getting to the same conversation I've had in the past, the SIM card tray. I don't think that Apple should take away the SIM card tray in the United States. It's everywhere else, Canada, UK, it's there, they have a SIM card tray there. In the US, our market is all about control, and companies want our money. None of these companies are our friends. Even if you have stock in the company, they're not your friend. They're not gonna give you any special favors. You're making them a lot of money, a lot more than you're getting. And so when it comes to Apple, I'm always gonna ride them about this no SIM card. It's just stupid to take it away, but I understand why they did it, because it's a controlling factor. They're in bed now with I'll use different terminology. They're in cahoots with the carriers now to lock people down, to make it harder to switch. Yeah, that's just what it is. So, because there's really no reason. People could say, oh, SIM card trays and it's more stuff to break it, blah, blah, blah. No. If it was like that, there's a test dummy for everything. You remember when T-Mobile was doing the uncarrier thing and everybody said it was crazy? Well, now everybody is basically uncarrier. It's really what it is. So with Apple removing the SIM card tray for the United States and US market, I think it's pretty tacky. I don't like it at all, but what can I do? eSIM has been around for a long time. I've always used eSIM, but I don't like that I'm being forced to use eSIM. That's my problem with them. And after that, folks, I really don't have a problem with the device, man. Battery life is obviously pretty decent. I can make it through a day and a half or so comfortably. Close to 2 days when I'm not on it a lot. But if I'm on it, and I get more phone calls and text messages and emails than anything else. I'm on social media a lot, but not on an iPhone most of the time. I'd rather just grab a laptop and a big display and something I can comfortably put my bifocals on and really see it instead of staring at a little screen like this. Now, but overall, man, I'm happy with this device. I'm really happy with it. The performance on it is phenomenal, top notch, not being touched by anybody else. As you can see, I can record a 4K 60 HDR ProRes video like I'm doing right now. And the phone's not warm, it's not hot, it's a little warm probably, but not scorching hot, it's not shutting off. And it'll record until I run out of memory or until it just can't take it anymore, So the pluses for me with the iPhone 15 Pro is, man, it's got phenomenal battery for what it is. It's got a great display. I mean, the display is top notch. The performance is great. But the highlight for me is just the cameras. Now, I know they added Type-C and everything, but that's not nothing that's new. They should have been done that. But they did it because they were forced to do it. But nonetheless, this is an all-around just phenomenal product. That's just what it is. It's a phenomenal product. Hands down, this is the product to grab if you want a pro-level setup from Apple. That's what I would recommend. And so now that I'm over 30 days in with this thing, I'm loving it, man. I am freaking loving it. I don't see myself turning backwards to anything else. The 15 Pro is off the table now, and I'm all in with the 15 Pro, or 15 Pro Max, and I'm all in with the 15 Pro. If you want an iPhone and you don't want to spend this kind of money, then go with the 15 lineup, because you're pretty much going to get these cameras minus one and minus a few features. Now, speaking of minus some features, this Pro model, unlike the Pro Max, doesn't have the 70mm lens on the zoom, but it's okay. How often am I zooming in on something like that? Often never, because my phone is just my phone. You know what I mean? I could actually rock this phone out for at least 3 to 5 more years, because it's just a phone, and I know that I will have other products to pretty much take care of any kind of tech needs and things like that. I don't know that I would switch this out for the 16. I probably would add on, but because that's another thing about the trade-in values from Apple. I can never really get a good trade-in value from Apple nowadays. It used to be pretty high. They were giving $900 back in the day, $850. They're not doing that now, and I think it's because people aren't switching from their iPhones as quickly. People aren't switching and buying the new iPhone like they used to. iPhones are still like #1 in sales, I guess. I don't really keep up with the stats too much. I don't really care about how much money Apple is making. They're not giving me any. But I feel like the overall package, when they try to do these trade-ins, it's lame. You buy a phone for $1,700 and the next year they want to give you $650. It's like, nah, son, it's not going to happen. So I think Apple has done a great job, though. I don't have really any major flaws or complaints about the product. This is just me talking to you like real deal. Like I'm a regular consumer now. Okay, I'm creating for you and I'm following up and I'm doing this, but it's coming from a place of truth. crashing and overheating and anything you could think of, I will report it to you if it's happening, but it's not happening. I'm not having any problems. Nothing's going wrong with the product, and I'm glad that it is. But I do have Apple Care. I put Apple Care on pretty much everything except for my studio. I don't have Apple Care and stuff like that because this just sits stationary, and I've never had a problem with their desktop style computers. But the phones, the only reason I put Apple Care on there is because people are thieves, and people, if you lose it, anything could happen. I don't really so much have it on there, I think, for damage, but the fact of the matter is, phones are strong. I dropped it outside of the case, not on concrete, but hard floor, and it didn't even leave a mark. It's this titanium joint is really nice. So, but I eventually put it in the case, and now I'm pretty much rocking the case only because it's this Caseology case. It's got so much grip. I like it. Yeah. This is your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed a follow-up video on the iPhone 15 Pro. This is a win. How do you feel about your iPhone 15 Pro? Tag me on social media. Tag me on Twitter. Tag me on Threads. Tag me on Instagram. It's all the same, Mr. J.L. Williams. It's your man Jay. I'll see you in the comments. Take care.